When you think of protest, what comes to mind? For many, it's images of chaos, clashes, maybe even vandalism. We're often told protests are disruptive, ineffective, or just noise. But what if that narrative is fundamentally flawed? What if the rights and freedoms we take for granted today weren't just handed down, but actively won through the very actions we're taught to dismiss? Before we dive in, I'd like to quickly thank our sponsor, EW Strategy, for making this video possible. Want to navigate the markets with more precision? EW Strategy offers expert analysis using the Elliott Wave principle to help inform your trading decisions. Join over 85,000 members and elevate your trading game. Their support helps us create content like this. Now let's get started. It's easy to see why protests get a bad rap. News often focuses on the most dramatic moments, the broken window, the confrontation. And historically, those in power have always tried to paint protesters as unreasonable troublemakers. It serves their interest to make us doubt whether standing up and speaking out actually achieves anything real. Part of the problem lies in how we learn history. We memorize dates of wars, names of kings and presidents, but the long, often difficult struggles of ordinary people demanding change, the labor movements, the fight for suffrage, civil rights, these grassroots efforts are often relegated to footnotes, if mentioned at all. We miss the lesson that progress often requires protest. We're taught democracy equals voting, and yes, voting is crucial, but it's only one part of the system. True democracy relies on checks and balances. Think of it as having pillars: the executive branch, government; the legislative, making laws; the judiciary, courts; the press, keeping watch; and crucially, the people, exercising their right to assemble and protest. And protest itself isn't monolithic. It's a huge spectrum. Yes, sometimes it involves confrontation, but far more often it's peaceful. Think petitions, marches, boycotts where people refuse to buy certain products, strikes where workers withhold labor, sit-ins, walkouts, even protest songs and art. These are all tools in the democratic toolkit. But does it work? Political scientist Chenoweth from Harvard University studied hundreds of major political campaigns between 1900 and 2006. Her findings are stunning. She discovered a clear threshold for success in movements aiming for significant political change, like overthrowing a dictator or achieving national liberation. What's the magic number? Just 3.5%. When a protest movement achieved sustained active participation from at least 3.5% of the population, it never failed to achieve its goals in her data set. That's incredibly powerful. It's not necessarily about sheer numbers, but about committed, widespread, nonviolent action, putting undeniable pressure on the system. Think about it. The end of apartheid in South Africa, women gaining the right to vote in the UK and US, the fall of the Berlin Wall spurred by East German protests, the Velvet Revolution in Czechoslovakia, the People Power Revolution in the Philippines. These weren't gifts from benevolent rulers. They were hard-won victories achieved through sustained popular protest, often largely nonviolent. Even actions we might find inconvenient or disruptive, like strikes or boycotts, have historically been crucial. The 8-hour workday, won through massive, often confrontational labor strikes, ending child labor, years of campaigning and protest. These changes rarely happen without pushing the boundaries and forcing those in power to listen. And this isn't just limited to those famous Western examples. Look at the Solidarity movement in Poland, which played a pivotal role in ending communist rule, or the tireless vigils of the mothers of the Plaza de Mayo in Argentina, demanding answers about their disappeared children under a brutal dictatorship. Even the recent waves of pro-democracy movements across different continents show this persistent drive. So why is defending the right to protest, even protests we disagree with, so vital? Because it's the ultimate safety valve for democracy. It allows grievances to be aired, holds power accountable, and signals when the system isn't working for significant parts of the population. Suppressing protest doesn't solve problems. It often makes them fester and explode later. Next time you see a protest, try looking beyond the immediate spectacle. Remember that this right is fundamental, hard-won, and often the engine of positive change. Understanding the history and the data, like the 3.5% rule, shows us that collective sustained action matters. Let's learn more, discuss respectfully, and protect this vital democratic freedom. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Like this video if you found it insightful, and subscribe for more dives into how our world works.